Just hold the phone.
Make sure it's sideways coming.
Yeah, last time it fucked up, but we're good.
Is it live?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Alrighty.
It's Loki kind of back. I think.
Cool. Alright, podcast episode 8, featuring our boys, All Clear Kids, Joey and Giovanni.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourselves. I think, well, first we'll start off this is podcast episode Stressed, right?
What's
We're
that?
stressed.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Super
but
stressed.
We're here. We're doing it.
We're here now.
And we're all good.
Go ahead first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Important guy.
yeah, I'm Giovanni Balsher. I play drums.
That's all I do. That's all you do. I'm Joey Balshuri, and I play
Everything else.
the vocals. I don't know if that. Do you
Yeah.
say playing vocals?
Guitar.
Singing vocals. Guitar. And then I wish I was a drummer. 'Cause
Piano.
Guitar.
Guitar, dude.
The
Guitar,
electric triangle.
Don't sell yourself short, man.
You know.
You got some skin fruit in your days. Start going down the line of the things that you really like, you know.
Excel at.
Yeah.
Start getting everything. Hey, but you're new to this, right?
No, I was on the last podcast. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Casey's here as well.
Yeah, Casey's been on the last podcast that hasn't released yet, but yeah, me and Casey and Tyler are pretty much the three that'll be on this podcast, and then you kind of already got to know me and Tyler a little bit more. So Casey is also on like the audio production side of things. So if you want to just do a quick intro on what kind of things you do too.
Tell us.
What?
Tell us. We need to
Yeah.
know.
For the folks that
I
are
produce music, help write and record with bands, as well as Tyler. So that's our end of the bargain. We both help do this with Black Eight with blog posts and such.
Good deal.
Great to have you guys.
Yeah, thanks,
I think
man.
people need to understand the importance of, not mean blog stuff, but like, I think it goes deeper than blogging or like being a producer. It's like the community that's
Yeah.
coming with the people that you put on the podcast and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like technically, like me and Tyler both produce music. Connor does photography. We all come from the band background, but here we are with Black Eight to have a community for artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And everybody I've told has been like super about it too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously there's a bunch of people that are throughout whatever it may be are doing something similar,
Mhm.
but it's more so the fact that like how many people are actually doing it in San Diego.
Yeah.
So like props to you guys for starting that.
That's like something that we all kind of thought of was like bringing not only like that camaraderie to the San Diego scene again, which would be like ideal to have everyone, because obviously we have like much bigger plans for the future than just to have like a podcast or like blog posts where it's like informational and stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
with something like this, like I remember growing up in the scene, like we all had like a place to go, which was like a studio back in the day that everybody practiced at, like,
Yeah.
which was super sick that everybody, and not even if just like bands that didn't practice there, like it was just a place to be where like artists could come together and like just shoot the shit, which is
Yeah.
like, which is a lot about what this like podcast is like we talk about what we do, but we also just get to know each other better
Right.
as people.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's what I was saying. That it's like
Yeah.
it creates community,
Mhm.
especially since it seems like I mean, like no offense to anyone that's previously been on. There's a couple people I didn't know about them or their bands or anything, and it makes you explore like who they are.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
also cool too if there's kids out there that, you know, or even like adults that have no idea how to do music production, have no idea how to do a
Mhm.
music production computer, building it, or how to take photos and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's almost like a free learning program.
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
feel like
with
the
people here.
San Diego scene just like really needs to pick me up.
Yeah, that was kind of our idea behind it, is like provide the information and just like put it out there for like a place where people can go as like a one-stop shop, because
Yeah.
that's what we like to do as far as like content wise, is just like have things out so people can like latch onto it and like, oh, like these guys actually help me with shit, so that's dope.
Right.
And then but on the back of the end of that, it's like this is also like just a place where we all put our business through. So it's
Right.
like we can run, like they run all their like clients through it, and we run and I do all my clients through the company now too. So it's like it kind of just has like both sides of it. It kind of covers all grounds, I guess,
Yeah.
which is sick. Like it's exciting. It's still the beginning stages, obviously, and like we're still getting off the ground, but.
So question though, like, is there? I mean, I guess because I'm intrigued. Is there? I mean, obviously, there's like a big picture for a lot of things that everyone does, but
Mhm.
is there another thing that you guys want to do next when it comes to, like, introduce someone that's good at videos or introduce,
Graphic design.
you know,
Oh,
get
yeah.
someone who's experienced with managerial positions when it comes to touring and stuff
Mhm.
like that, you know?
Yeah, I think maybe down the road. For now, we're focusing on like Tyler and I will take on, like outside of the website, blog posts and all that. Tyler and I will take on artists to record with and write with, or if somebody needs artist development, we're there for that to help as well.
And we do have
Yeah.
a band now.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a band now. Can't really say who yet, but we have a band now that we're working with for artist development, and so like bands need that help getting their stuff together, photos and all that. That's what Connor's here for too. So if someone wants to take on the whole development deal,
Yeah.
we help with the music or whatever they need, and Connor's there for photo and video. And
Yeah, that was like the ideal goal, is just like, okay, one-stop shop. Like if you
Yeah.
guys need things, like we're down to help. Like, and then of course that's not like a formula that works for every band. Like some people like we can do it all ourselves, and
Yeah.
most people can, you know. So but it's like we hope to be able to provide enough to where it's like, damn, like these guys are actually doing something cool. Like
Right.
let's go write some music with them, and we all like collectively have a lot of experience with like the San Diego scene. So we have obviously like you just meet people over time, like and like you guys too. Like you
Yeah.
guys know, you guys are close friends with the Soma people, which is like making connections like that is not someone like new bands have, you know.
Right.
So it's like you have those connections, and that's something that you can kind of like leverage, you know. So it's like shit. We've been doing this for a while. We know, like if any of us were to go up to the Soma girls and be like, hey, like fuck, we got like this band that we're all really stoked on, they would obviously be like, yeah, like I trust these guys, I love these guys.
Yeah.
Like I'll and they vouch for a band, and like I'm gonna check them out and put them on a show or something. So that's kind of like that's like short term like goals for all this, and like kind of just what we're all pushing right now. And yeah, it's been fun so far. Been super sick, and like obviously like stuff with you guys. Like I've been able to do some cool photo work for you guys,
And some
little bit of
videos.
video stuff.
Yeah.
And
We have some other videos coming out too.
yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff. So it's just like, I think we have a good formula down, and I think it's just a matter of keeping it consistent. And yeah, we're trying to do these podcasts even just two times a
Yeah.
week. So
I don't think people understand how popular podcasting
it's getting
is.
big, man.
Dude,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
the fact that they're on Spotify now and
I
iTunes.
didn't even start listening to podcasts until like, I don't know, a few months ago. I didn't get it. I'm like, why the fuck do people listen to podcasts? Like, it's like listening to
so
talk radio.
entertaining.
And then I start
But you were
listening to
hooked,
one.
huh?
Yeah, I start listening to my
Gotcha.
car, and I pull up somewhere, and I'm like, oh my god, there's still 30 minutes left. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm here. Like, and then I find like times throughout the day to listen to it. Like, I love browsing podcasts now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's gotten to the point where I'll be at work, and like I'm bummed that I have to listen to music. Like I'll listen to the
Right?
podcast, and I'll be like, oh, dude, I got 2 episodes to catch up on. I'm
Mhm.
like, sweet, I got
Yeah.
so much time. And then once they're over, I'm like, I guess I'll go back to my
Yeah.
Spotify playlist now.
Yeah, some of those
Yeah.
you click on, and you're like, oh my god, it's 2 hours. Like, I don't want to get into this. And you listen to it, and it ends. You're like,
And then
no,
you're,
and just keep
you're
going.
an hour and 55 minutes
But-
in,
but
and you're
that-
like, what am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah, for real.
That almost brings me back though, because like when I was younger, I'd always listen to morning radio with my
Right.
mom, like on Rock 105.3 and stuff,
Mhm.
and like nothing passes time faster than just listening to people talk.
Because you're learning.
Yeah, if it's something you're
Yeah,
interested
it's
in
just-
or learning
it's super
about,
rad.
it just time flies.
I love that, dude. That like literally, because it's almost just like you're sitting in on conversations of like the most interesting people like ever. You know, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you're like a fly on the wall.
yeah, exactly.
basically.
Like this right before we went on, we were talking about Joe Rogan, which is a household name. Everyone knows
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
Rogan, but it's like this dude has on literally look up the Joe Rogan podcast. I think he's on like 12 episodes, like 1,200 right now.
Oh,
or
he
something.
literally just
What
hit,
one did he
I
just
think,
hit?
1,000.
Yeah.
1,000 podcasts.
so
There's
that's-
sometimes just 3 times in a day, and that's 3 hours.
Oh, he's
each
knocking
episode.
them out?
He
Like,
just goes back to
that's
back to
so
back.
sick.
But like think about. I mean, I'm not saying that he's like the revolutionary person for podcasts, obviously. Or
He was
like,
doing
he's
it
like-
early though, for
but
sure.
like
Yeah.
he's been doing this for a long time,
Mhm.
and it's the fact of like how people don't get how marketable all senses of communication is, whether it's radio
Yeah.
or podcasts or doing a video or a live stream like we are and you guys are. Like any kind of content
Yeah.
is prominent, and podcasts are just like the both ends. It's a video that you can watch, or it's something you can listen to, and it's entertaining. And especially since, like, for you guys are talking about things that are music, but it's like
It's kind of niche, but
different,
like other
yeah.
people can like still chime in and be like, oh, like maybe like an old dude could be like, oh fuck, I wanted to do music when I was younger. Let's listen
Yeah.
to like these young
Yeah.
cats doing. Yeah. So and shit, man. The way I think about it too is like the way the world is moving so fast. Like I was thinking about this the other day of how like more and more we all go towards like voice to communicate. Where I mean like with our technology at least. Like so it's like. I know like all this stuff is in the early stages of like Siri and stuff. Like
Mhm.
Siri works pretty fucking well for what it is though, because
Yeah.
you can just be like, hey
until
Siri,
you need
do
it.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
until you need it to work.
yeah. But if you guys have seen like all that shit with like Alexa and like Google Home,
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, because it's just time. It's saving you time. So it's like
you don't have to press any buttons or type.
Well, it's
in. You're just like,
convenience.
hey,
We're
Alexa.
literally in the time of convenience.
whatever's
Like,
quick.
why is Uber a thing? Why is Uber Eats a thing? Like, why is all the things?
It's just
'Cause it's
time.
convenient.
Mhm.
Because you don't want to waste time
You're
on it,
saving time.
and you want to do everything.
Yeah, so if you can imagine, like, you say something to your phone, like,
Mhm.
you're just, or like, hey, Alexa, like, fucking order me toothpaste or some bullshit like
Like,
that.
I got you.
I got you, fam. Like, and then what did you didn't have to be on your phone. So it's
You
just
literally
like,
didn't move from in front of your TV or your podcast, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you have toothpaste now.
so that's what I think, like, especially this is an early stage of, like, the boom of before this gets super big of podcasting, because it's like all those other things, like when the cell phone was invented, it just saved us time. We
Right.
started texting, we didn't, instead of calling, because it was on our own time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like the voice is like on or through podcasts is just like you're doing your things, you're multitasking, you still listen to podcasts. So
Right.
that's what's fucking cool. I love it about that. I know you guys like listen to it too, right? Like that's
Yeah, I
Yeah.
literally
so
every time
more and more
it
people
pops up,
are
I'm
just like
reach.
Well,
Yeah.
like a whole thing about going back to like conveniency. It's like podcasting essentially started with radio. That's
Mhm.
likely what podcasting
Talk
is.
radio,
Yes, talk
yeah.
radio, right? But what do you have to do? You have to be in your car.
yeah.
Now you can be on your phone and listen
Exactly.
to
You
it.
can literally do
Yeah,
anything.
you
with
can
your
relay
phone
all
as
this
well as with you.
information
Yeah.
while someone's in bed
And if
or while
you
someone's
can't,
at work.
yeah, and if you
like
can't have
that,
the volume on, you got headphones.
Right.
You literally can have this stuff
Cool.
anywhere now.
Even better though is no ads. That's what I like.
Yeah.
You listen
Yeah.
to
or
talk
just
radio.
like 30-second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the morning radio now, it's like like 10 minutes of talking and then 20 minutes of an ad, and you're just like,
Dude,
I'm
and when
listening to more commercials than I am the actual
It's
show
so
at this
smart
point.
yeah.
Well,
Well, of course, from
the
a
business
business
behind
But I mean,
ads.
as a
Someday
listener-
podcasting will probably be there if you think
Oh,
about
I'm
it.
sure.
straight.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
it's gonna be
And
fun
then, but then
eventually.
it's like, cool, that sounds good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I'm down.
It'll almost slightly sound, if you're at work or whatever, monotonous in the fact that it's like
Mhm.
you're listening and talking. Who cares if you're listening to an ad talking about
Exactly.
whatever? Like,
And shit, man, when I hear an ad on like one of the podcasts I listen to, I'm like, fuck yeah, these guys are like making money off of that ad just to say a couple words before. Like they're like a
Yeah,
smaller,
like
medium
sometimes,
size podcast.
like I know when you click on links and stuff from YouTube or like at the top of Google, it'll
Mhm.
have the link. And I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but if you click on that link, that sponsored link, they get paid out for it
Exactly.
or something.
No,
so if
yeah.
it's like a smaller company
That's how
and
it
I'm
works,
searching
yeah.
and I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I'll help them out.
Yeah, just fucking click.
Click the
Or
link. You didn't even
a
know
big
that's
one
right.
too is like, like all little like quirks like that is like, if you're watching an ad on like YouTube, like a video has an ad and you don't skip it, if you watch it all the way through,
They get paid out.
that like channel gets more.
Yeah.
They'll get like 5 cents instead of 2 cents or whatever it is.
Right.
But
Well, I didn't
but that
know.
adds up, you know, if you have
Yeah, of
hundreds of
course.
thousands. Like, you guys watch Casey Neistat, or do you know that name? Just like
What's that?
Casey Neistat, I think his name is.
I
He's
don't
just
know.
a
Not too
vlogger.
familiar.
Mm-mm.
He's like the biggest vlogger on YouTube. But
So like he's like a YouTube blogger.
he's a YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, just like he started out just like vlogging his everyday, and he did it daily.
Mhm.
And he's like an older dude. He's probably in like his 40s now, but he just started vlogging every day, like
a
doing
day-to-day vlog.
every day. Like he would just consistently do it, and now he posts a video, and within the day it has 3 million views.
Whoa.
So it's like that's one
That's
day,
crazy.
post it, 3 million views, and it's like if you think about like how those clicks like add up, like on just like
Oh, yeah.
even if people aren't like watching the ad all the way through, or like regardless, an ad's running on your video.
plus
So you're getting-
product placement too.
A lot of people, yeah,
Like
eventually,
if he's a day-to-day guy,
he definitely does that.
and
Yeah.
he uses a backpack, and
Yeah.
the backpack company will say, "Put this in your video, we'll give you X amount of dollars."
It's all just like attention, man. Like I know, cause he's like he does a lot of like the photo and video stuff, which is like why I'm like attracted to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, like a drone company hit him up and he was like, just like throw this drone in some of your videos and then like talk about it a little bit, and it's like, fuck, dude, you got a free drone. At
Yeah, I'd be down
Yeah.
just for that.
Yeah.
You know, even
Dude, like, I don't know how to drive this
Yeah.
thing, but
So that's cool, man.
I
I
think
think
you're
it
just
out.
lawsuit on it because those things are dangerous. You can't fly those things. Like,
Dude, they start
anywhere.
banning them like everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard
it's
about
so
that.
sick.
Yeah.
I want one so
But I
bad.
mean, like, I think like the big thing that I enjoy seeing, like with this podcast, people like you know how the PewDiePie guy
Mhm.
is the most subscribed YouTuber on all of
that
YouTube.
dude's insane. Yeah.
But like, why is he so popular? Is because he had a craft, he enjoyed doing it,
Kept it
people
consistent.
believed in it, and he had fun with it.
Mhm.
And it's like that's so marketable.
I love it.
Showing people, or people watching someone have enjoyment on what they're doing,
Yeah.
making a community out of that.
If you go back, like, that's what I love about this too, is like, if you go back to that dude, it's all there. Like, it's all documented now. Like, I'm excited for this podcast, especially because we can go back to this episode a year from now when, like, we're like, oh, that podcast, like, or we're thinking now, like, oh, yeah, we get, like, maybe 100 plays on a podcast. And we're like, oh, cool, like, we're stoked on that. And, like, that's cool, but it's all documented. So, like, if PewDiePie, you go back to, like, his early videos, he's not like killing it, you know, like he's still
Yeah.
learning, and he's like
Yeah.
people aren't like he's not getting millions of views on his videos, but he's just doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like that's to me, like, even though that dude does something other than what I do, it's like that's a role model to me because it's just like
He just
he's
stuck
stuck
with
with
it.
something.
Yeah,
Exactly.
now he's just killing
He's
it.
just
Yeah.
killing it. Like, dude, like, fuck, that's the dream, man. Like, you make YouTube videos every day. Like, you just gotta wake up and like, like, what can I fuck around on YouTube? today,
Yeah,
you
right.
know? Like,
And he gets paid to play video games.
that's so
like
what?
podcasters get paid to sit
Just
down
to
and talk
talk.
about things
And
that they enjoy.
We're just
How
chatting
sick
about
is that?
like, dude, and like this, like, I think this will probably be a cool segue. Like, we can talk about like all the stuff that you guys have been going on. It's just things we love, you know.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like you guys have been doing a lot of cool stuff lately, and
Yeah, like here we are. We brought All Clear Kid on to talk about the band, and we're like 17 minutes.
Oh,
into
yeah.
it, just like
Oh, fuck it.
I'm
That's-
just rambling
that's
about
what's sick, man.
No, but I
Like,
mean, it's
no
like who cares
rules.
about like
Yeah.
it's like
I love it.
It's not like a regular job where you're literally clocking in doing XXXX things.
Mhm.
It's like you can just literally do
Just
talk
talk
about
about
what
it.
you're into.
Maybe
whatever.
some people
See
are gonna
whatever.
hate it, but some people are gonna be like, "Damn, that gave me some value."
those
Like,
people can stay off this channel.
Yeah,
I'm
those guys,
joking.
they're looking good. They're saying the right things, and then maybe they fucking hate when we talk about the music.
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, I think people really click and enjoy. Like I said earlier, when people just enjoy what they're doing,
Mhm.
instead of being so like suit and tie, clean cut to whatever the hell they're doing, just to follow it,
Mhm.
just to like prove that they're dedicated, that they're gonna do exactly what they have to do instead of what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're all doing. Like that's what we're doing with our band. We're doing whatever we want to do.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think we have anybody that's telling us not to do, but regardless if they are or not, we're just
Mhm.
going to do it.
Yeah.
And sitting with you guys with your podcast and with your music production, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just think doing what you love is the most important thing, and showing it because people enjoy what people are legitimately happy doing what
Passionate.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
passionate.
I always say that passion cannot be stopped.
Yeah, you can only fake something for so long. Like if you're just like playing in a band, you hate the sound or something. It's like you're gonna get over it.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, you can only do it. You can only do so much.
It's one of those things where just your everyday actions, you can just tell someone, like, think about it, like you go to a job
Mhm.
and you're like, dude, that dude hates his job. You
Yeah.
can just
Yeah,
see
you
it,
know.
you know what I mean? Like just the way they talk, the way
I don't
they
know how
walk,
From the
Like
gas
that.
station to getting coffee to
Yeah.
anything. You're
talking to
like,
someone on the
oh,
phone.
he hates his job.
Quality over quantity.
But it's like one of those frustrating things because I mean I guess there's probably some people that don't know or whatever, but it's just like for me personally, I personally don't like it when people just say like, well, I'm just stuck doing this.
I know, I
It's
hate
like, dude,
that.
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, what makes you stuck there?
Yeah,
like, I
like
hate
you can
when
do
people say that.
whatever you want. I mean, no offense to people that like are doing what they.
I mean, sometimes you
they're
gotta
doing, they
do-
hate it. Of
yeah, you
course,
gotta do
everyone
what
has
you
to do
gotta
hard
do.
work, but it's like, at the end of the day, you deserve to be happy. At the end of the day, you deserve to do whatever makes you feel like you're not working.
Right.
You're doing what you love, and I think too many people are confused with the fact that failure is an option. That's why they don't want to do it. Like, oh, I wanted to be a whoever or whatever job, but you know, it's just
Too
I
hard.
I can't commit to
I'm
it.
scared,
Of course you can.
yeah.
Yeah, or
Of
what
course
if
you
what
can.
if I
Anything is possible.
Anything that matters to you like that, there's always a leap of faith.
Exactly.
Like nothing is handed to you. I mean, it's you go to college, you get a job, there you go, whatever. But if you do something that you care about that's not
Right.
through college or whatever, nothing is easy or handed to you. You don't apply for the job. Like
Right.
Connor's photography, no one's he doesn't work for somebody.
Yeah.
Freelance. Me
Right.
doing
Well, that's kind of like
music production.
right.
It's like
that's kind of like what you just did with your other job. I don't know if that's like a personal thing, but
No,
like,
no, I
like
talk
you just
about it
took
all
like
the
a
time.
leap of faith, and we're like,
That's
screw
it, man. Yeah, I
kinda
like
over.
I was fucking bummed at what I was doing, and for the longest time, I had that mindset of like, I just have to do this because I have to pay the bills, and it's like,
Yeah.
and that I had a lot of other like factors, which like everybody does. Everybody has shit. Everyone has baggage, and it's like, you can either let that like eat you alive and think like, oh man, like, I gotta take care of my family and take care of and you have kids or whatever the situation might be. Everyone has their own, but it's about what you do in your off time from that, you know. And that was where I got my start in this. It was like, okay, I work a job that I fucking hate, but I have nothing to look forward to when I get off. It was just
Right.
like,
You're just
I'm
so
just
drained
going
at the end of
home
the day.
and I live for the weekend, you know. I'm like, oh, it's Monday, fuck Mondays, you know. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's
everybody's
Friday.
You should
working for
love
the weekend.
Mondays. That's the thing.
I love.
That's
I
the
like
inspiration
hearing
that I get is like
I want to love. I
Mondays.
want to love a Monday.
Because
Yeah,
I just want to
know
work.
right now.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We're all striving for that, so it's cool. It's like we're not just giving in to being like, well, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, what if all of us fuck up here? Like, what are we gonna look back on? Like, at least we tried.
Yeah, I would say at least
Yeah.
we tried. Like, that's the way I explain it to people. It's like, if I don't make it doing something I love, however long goes by, and I'm like, man, like maybe this just I'm just not cut out for this. Like, at least I
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I gave it my all.
And then, but like, what can you do from there? You can pivot, and you can be like, well, okay, that didn't work
Yeah, but
out.
maybe I could do this.
But I
Yeah.
found like another thing
Yeah,
that I
exactly.
truly love.
Through
right?
that, yeah, that's shit. We were talking about that with our friend Isaac on here, where it was like, how we all like, obviously we all started playing bands in the San Diego music scene, but through that, I found that I liked doing like more of the art side of things.
Right.
Like I
Instead
like
of the
taking
performance
pictures.
side.
Yeah, and or that just like worked out better for where I was in life. Like obviously I'd love to be in a band again, but that just doesn't work out for everyone. Our friend Isaac played music, but he had the opportunity to go out with people that where he could like tour manage.
Right.
So it's like you're still like
He
you
enjoys
found
that.
something else that you liked
Yeah.
through it, and it was like it was a win-win, you know. Like
Yeah.
so that's
I mean, it's one of those things like people accept failure too easily, in my opinion. At least what I see, like friends and family or whatever, or like even just seeing it in bands, like or any kind of arts. Like people just give up way too easily. Like something doesn't go their way, or they've been doing it for so long and they don't see a big picture of success, and they're just like, screw this. But I think a big portion of that is being surrounded by good people that
Yeah.
think the same way as you. Because I'm a firm believer of, you know, you are your environment. If you're around lazy people that don't want to think constructively and want to think bigger, you're going to become a person just like that.
Yeah.
That's why I think for
That's
me,
that's what you get fed.
yeah, for him and I being like the only two people in a band, we got to make sure that we always are filtering out let's give ourselves some room.
Mhm.
Let's not. I mean, when we were writing the next album that we're coming out with, we literally just went right into it, and then, you know, you kind of lose your spot with your friends or your work, or, you know, for him, like having a girlfriend, like it must be nice having a girlfriend, but whatever. But stuff like that, like you really got to have your avenues cleared. Like,
Yeah,
I don't hang out
like-
with my friends every day, and I go to work every day, but I'm not there all day. Like, I give myself a change, but I never accept failure as an option, whether it's being a good friend and failing that, or a good worker and failing that, or a good musician and failing that.
Yeah.
But being surrounded by really good people
Yeah.
that think exactly like you. And that's why I think we all kind of mingle. Like, I mean, I've
Yeah.
known you for a long time. We've known Connor for a long time. We're doing stuff with Connor. Like, I've known him for,
I think a couple days, but
Yeah,
I
it's
think a
one
little
of
bit.
those things where I think you have to be ready to cut out whatever is in the way or negativity, or
Right,
put things
yeah.
to the side to drive into whatever you're doing. Like, I know with music production and also like writing my own music and playing in bands and this and that, like, if I go to work, when I get home, I literally have to do that, or it's
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
gonna get done.
Right.
And so I don't have time to go hang out with my friends or do this or that, because I care. Not that I care more, but it's my life, and I'm trying to make that happen. So I
Exactly.
want to go home and write music or record with this band or this person, or because that's my dream in the long run. So
Right.
for now, I gotta do that. You know,
Right.
pay my dues.
and also to touch base on what he was saying too with failures and whatnot. I mean, the completely overused statement of Rome wasn't built in a day. You
Yeah,
know, like
exactly.
you're going to fail. It's inevitable. You know what I mean? It's the whole once you get knocked down. What was that? Remember the VH1 where the guy does like the. It's not like the Rocky quote. Like, it's not about how hard you get knocked down.
Oh.
It's about how hard you get back up. Like, that's like literally what it is.
Wait,
like
VH1.
remember he like left
Oh,
the show.
the
meme video, but not to get off track. But like that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna fall. You just have to
Yeah,
get back
nothing's
up.
perfect.
If it means enough to you,
And
you're
that's-
gonna get back up.
That's
and try
not
it
even.
again.
That's not even just like for like an hour, like being a photographer or a music
That's just
producer.
anything.
That's literally everything.
Yeah.
I try to think about like the biggest dudes in business or whatever anybody has made it in, and I try to think like,
Not to get taken under.
ooh, now we're getting heating up. Ooh, this is why we really brought you on.
These reptiles.
yeah.
pythons.
Yeah, if you look at like what I really love now is like how so much information is out there, and you can go back and look, or even just like what these guys say today is like they tell their stories. Like the guys that have really made it and like stuck with something, they'll talk about all their fucking failures along the way.
Yeah,
You know, like,
going back to the whole podcast thing, I always just assumed all people were like, man, they had it easier. Like,
Mhm.
they just started making music or whatever, and they just immediately skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And then you listen to their story, you're like, damn, they had it rough. Like,
Yeah.
for 10 years before it took
Yeah.
off. Like, no one, I mean, some people have a lucky in or
Yeah.
something happens, but, like, a lot of people just really work their ass off to get where they are.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it too, I feel like mainstream media kind of
Dilutes everything.
puts like a little cloth over your eyes to make it seem like, you know, oh yeah, you get out there and, you know, it just happens. But it's like, Chris Pratt even said he lived out of his car for like 10 years before he
Yeah.
got like a huge
Or Imagine
film role.
Dragons, like one of the biggest bands. They were literally touring and making zero money for 7 years, or 8 years, like
something
that.
crazy.
And then here they are as the biggest band. Why? Because they didn't give up. Because
Yeah.
they never accepted like, okay, well maybe this isn't working out. Maybe we should do something different.
and that's the thing is like they believed in it. Like that can bring down like even the strongest person's
Yeah.
like spirits, you know. But
Yeah, it's a morale thing. Like making
yeah.
sure you have just like the heightened senses and the heightened spirit of,
Mhm.
you know, like literally digging your feet in the ground and not giving up.
Dude,
Ever.
I heard this thing that like that resonated with me because it's like, a lot of people talk about like, oh, you guys were saying like, oh, they probably just made it or they had it easy, but
Mhm.
it's like, from their perspective, it's like, it takes a lifetime to be an overnight success.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so everyone, like, like maybe one day you get on like the big radio show, or you get on like a big tour with a big band, and like, oh, this band came out of nowhere, and it's like, no, motherfuckers, like we sure didn't.
Yeah, you've been doing it for the last 3 years before you got on that tour or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Funny part about that was I saw the band Joywave, I think it was a little over a year ago, possibly a year and a half.
Yeah,
And-
it was July last year.
Yeah, and they said that someone had made an article about them or something, because they did like their first, like, they called it a world tour because they went, I guess if you go one country out, you can consider it a world tour.
Nice.
I don't know, that's literally what they were saying. But,
Cool, let's go to Mexico.
yeah, right.
Literally just
So-
whack a
World
TJ.
tour.
We're on a world tour right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Tour to
they're,
Mexico.
so they're like, yeah, this article said, you know, oh, they just came out of nowhere, overnight success, and they're like, we've been a band for like over 10 years.
Disrespectful,
Like, there's
dude.
no
Dude,
overnight success here.
Literally, you and I were talking about that yesterday at Denny's, and not to like say that we hang out, but like,
Oh, dude, you guys so friends.
Like, this-
I mean, I want
You got
to
Buffalo
but I
Wraps.
guess it's all
Sick
right.
Yeah.
invite, dude.
actually, my friends found out that I went to Denny's. They would think I was a phony because I hate Denny's. But
Damn.
sorry, Denny's. But we were literally talking about it last night about like how whether unfortunately it's a band or it's a fan or something like that that think a band, musician, product, company literally just they're like, wow, that's not fair. They just got this, but they don't understand like how much
Work
goes even for like a show. If you're playing a show
Mhm.
and it's there's a lot that goes into it, and it's like for instance like the Battle of the Bands. Like if it was like the word around was saying that it's fixed or whatever, and people don't understand how much time and effort goes into the bands doing it, the venue doing it, like all that stuff. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. And just because someone wins doesn't mean that they had it easier than everyone else. So I
It's-
don't know.
yeah,
Work
there's-
work is the most important thing. Putting an
Mhm.
effort in, and the most effort, and not caring about if people are paying attention to your whole entire process or not.
That's something I've like just from listening to like recent podcasts and like people that I've latched onto is like you gotta love the process, and if you don't, then you're fucked. Like if you don't love the setbacks, or you don't love the podcast that got 20 plays, and or you don't love the song that you put out that got, you know, not as much attention as you wish it did, but it's like, dude, you have no control over that. It's like the market is going to decide whether or not you have to adjust to the market,
Exactly.
not the other
The
way
market's
around.
not waiting for you.
Yeah, that's so
Exactly.
it's like you gotta love that fucking 20 play podcast as much as you love the one. Maybe one day we'll have like a 20,000 play podcast. You know,
Right.
it's like because one day I'll hope to look back and be like, yeah, like fuck, those were the days. Like in my fucking apartment with shitty lighting and like you know.
Yeah, but
So
it makes
it's
you
like,
appreciate
no,
what you have at
Yeah.
that moment.
Mhm.
Even if it's I talk about this with him all the time, and for the people that don't know, our uncle, who is our producer, co-writer, like he wrote like majority of the album with us, produced and recorded the whole entire albums. And like I encourage us all to keep in mind, like, we have been thankful enough to, like, not, this isn't a big thing at all, but we've had almost 5,000 views on our newest music video.
It's awesome, yeah.
Late night hours. That
Plug
we
it.
dropped
Plug it.
6 days ago. And that to us is like, what?
Insane.
But there's bands that get that in like 10 seconds.
seconds.
Yeah,
But it's
not
the
even.
fact that we have the ability of appreciating it.
Yeah.
And appreciating
It's
the
all
small
about scale,
things you
yeah.
have, doesn't matter how big or small they are, just appreciating them the same. Even if
Yeah.
you have a podcast that gets 200 views, it's still the fact of like, dude, it's 200 views.
200 people.
And then,
people,
and then when you
yeah.
hit 2,000, then you're gonna go do 2,000.
Yeah.
We're just at 200. Instead
That's
of it being
the
like,
thing,
nah, dude, man, this sucks, man. We don't have 200 views on
Yeah,
the podcast. It sucks.
this
no
sucks,
way.
we don't
It's still
have-
then
yeah.
20 people are still watching it.
That's
You know?
yeah. That brings up like a thing where it's easy to compare yourself to other people, like
Yeah.
because everyone's putting their shit out there, and
Right.
of course everyone wants to like PR themselves and be like, oh, look at me, like I did so well doing this, like hey, check it out, like
Yeah.
so it's like it's hard to to drown out that noise and just focus on your own shit. But I think it seems like you guys are in a good spot doing that, like with how you just put that. Is just like, man, we're stoked to have this 5,000 views, because it's like that pumps us up.
Yeah.
To like somebody else, they'd be like, oh, look at these guys, like 5,000 views,
Right.
like fuck them, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, who cares? Because you guys are like tunnel vision. It's like,
Right.
this is our shit. We're proud of what we're doing, and like, that's at the end of the day, that's what matters. And it's like, that's only gonna grow because you have that mindset.
Yeah.
You know.
And I
So-
think for me personally as a musician, it started like when we first started doing this, teaching myself how to sing and play piano. I was thinking so much like, dude,
What are they gonna
society's gonna think so.
What are they gonna think?
Like everyone's gonna think, man. But if you have society standards, everything that you do in life in general is always gonna be at a massive volume to compare to.
Oh, for sure.
Where like if you go like, dude, society's not gonna like us because we have 5,000, where everyone else is getting 50 million. Then we're like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Literally just compared to your tomorrow's band or your tomorrow's podcast or your tomorrow's, just compare it to what you can do yourself better. Like I say it all the time of, I worry about the things that I can change and not the things that I can't. Because the things I can't change, like I'm literally gonna like drill myself in the ground worrying about it instead of just
Focusing.
worrying about what I can do as a musician that will help him as a musician, because it's a team, and then worrying about just that. Because the standards of other people aren't in like-mindedness of what we want as, because we're the only ones that can make the best out of the band, kind of thing. So
Just to throw this in there, you guys are looking nice and sun-kissed from March. You guys are looking nice and tan.
Dude, I got
a little
burnt.
lobster
I
going.
got so
I
fried.
It fucking.
Did it blend though?
It's coming out
I
nice.
I
now.
can't see. I
Yeah,
got a
dude.
big old neck.
I literally, I would say it looked like a
Can't
Larry
turn.
lobster.
my neck
You're
is
a turtle.
young.
That's like,
That was like hands down the worst
You guys were. You guys
burn I've gotten in
But
years.
it didn't feel that bad. Honestly,
It felt
it was.
terrible.
No.
It was the fact that like, it was hot, but it wasn't that hot. Let's be real. It was like 82 degrees.
I would-
No,
hot.
it was I was saying there knowingly, like I'm watching this band also getting some.
Yeah,
burn.
it was the fact that
Literally.
I'm not a shorts kind of guy. I don't wear shorts.
No, the
It's
back of my
not-
knees are absolutely some.
Yeah, I was
They've been itching the last few
I was
days.
wearing pants all day.
Dude,
Really skinny
the
pants.
second day when I went to Pomona, I was like, I busted out the fucking shants from like 2006.
Dude, I was dying at that.
I was so
chance,
happy.
bro.
I was like, whatever. Like, let's throw it back to like 2006 Warped Tour. I threw those on. I wore a white T-shirt, and it was like,
Top, neon glasses back there. Gosh.
dude, it's super fun. Like, I saw a dude at the San Diego Warped Tour. Like, you remember back in the day when like dudes would wear like the girl booty
Oh,
shorts?
yeah.
I saw one dude doing
Oh,
that.
I
was
saw
like,
him too.
You're trying to
In like
be-
the track shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I was like, that's
no.
super funny.
But
Jesus,
the
no.
thing also that
This is mosh on the butt.
Yeah.
I low key had the Victory Records gym shorts back in the day. It said mosh on the butt.
really,
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Were they
I,
the short ones?
No, they were just regular gym
Oh,
shorts,
okay.
but still said mosh.
I think a difference too between, I mean, I didn't go to the Pomona one, but
Mhm.
I mean, there's to me a huge difference between standing on asphalt all day
Oh, yeah.
and standing on grass.
My
and
feet
dirt.
were done.
Dude, same.
Dude,
I
I
was saying
swear I thought my shoes were melting.
Yeah, same.
like my feet were on
my feet
And
were
fire.
standing still, I had a friend that she got her scalp burnt.
on the part of her hair or what?
Yeah.
I saw something like that too.
I was like, what?
That's what Ellie was saying.
But
She's
I'm an
like, I
idiot.
think my head got sunburned. I'm like, yeah, probably.
I know like 3 people that got their scalp sunburned, or they got like the forehead. Like, dude, Warped Tour was so sick. Like, it was our first Warped Tour in like 4 years, something like that.
I think it was 3.
But I was like, damn, I hate this place. It reminded me of the worst part of it, which is getting sunburned. And we were cooking on suntan
Yeah,
lotion
I
all
put
day.
Suntan lotion or sunscreen?
I put
Sunscreen, sorry.
Yeah,
I guess,
was
I guess I'm
trying
from
to
the
tan.
East Coast or something.
I was
like
no, I
suntan
wasn't trying to
lotion.
tan. No, it was definitely a super humbling rad
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys
So-
got to play Warped Tour. We didn't really mention that on the podcast. We're gonna
Yeah,
just
we've
know.
been fucking rambling.
Yeah,
but
you
that,
guys-
I mean, that's cool, man.
Yeah, you guys just won the local Battle of the Bands to play Warped
Yeah.
Tour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk
which is
a
cool.
little bit about like beginning to end, how that went. Like start from
Off
before
of
Battle of the Bands. Like talk about like what all of that leading up to playing. Like talk about that whole experience.
You can just come off whenever. I mean, pretty much before the Battle of the Bands, we were
Stagnant.
not necessarily stagnant because we've been writing a new album.
Yeah.
So our focus has mainly been, writing. Hey, like let's just get together and write. Don't do anything else but write. Let's get
Yeah.
this album knocked out, whatever. And then I believe he sent an email
Yeah,
saying we were
I
interested.
saw this Soma every year. Obviously, like the fact that they do it is incredible.
Shout out to them. dude.
Shout out
We
to
love
Soma and
Soma.
Christina, Nicola,
Yeah.
all
Let's
of
give
them.
them a big old
Such
hug.
great, I love them. Such great people. But they're fortunate because they have the credibility of being that good of a business,
Yeah.
representing. They have the ability of putting on, for people that don't know, the Battle of the Bands to essentially open up Vans Warped Tour.
Mhm.
And I saw that and I submitted it, and it was one of those things to where it's like, our last show that we played was at Soma side stage. We played with Assuming We Survive and I don't want to say Survive and Avion Row. It was a local show that we support, or a touring show, and we supported.
Mm.
So we're like, man, we really haven't shown them like our full capabilities. We haven't played a show in 4 months. It was about 4 months.
And
5 months.
November was when we played our show.
And we wanted to prove that we're a band that has a good pull
Mhm.
and has like dedicated people to show up. So I was like, screw it, let's do
and
it.
passion for our craft.
Yeah, like screw it, let's just do it. And I sent it to them, and they were like, it's a guaranteed show, which I don't believe of 100 tickets.
Right.
We're like, it's on a Saturday. Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
We can totally do it.
Yeah, so
I mean,
then-
we have a good resume of selling.
You can pull together
Yeah.
these, like rally the troops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It
I'm
was-
gonna end this. Goodbye, everyone. My phone's dying.
Oh, bye-bye.
But once we basically made the decision of, hey, like, let's just do it. Win or not, it's a good opportunity. It's a sick show.
Of course.
It's
Yeah.
a huge local show. Like, we're like,
Main stage.
yeah, main stage. Like, win or lose, like, let's
Bunch
do
of
it.
good local bands.
Yeah. But what we basically did from that was we just did like a 180. It went from nonstop writing to, okay, let's practice. Let's make sure we get like a really good set.
Literally shifted gears to
Yeah, like out of
Writing,
writing mode
straight
and performing. Yeah, so we just did that, and then stressed about it for a little bit.
a little over a month
That's
of
good.
trying to get people. But I
Yeah.
mean, I think for us as a band, like we get really motivated with the
Pressure.
uncomfortability of
Pressure,
things,
yeah.
like worrying about, man, are we gonna be able to sell these tickets? I mean, we thankfully sold enough and sold a lot more than we thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Leading up to it, but it's like, unfortunately, people that all while making sure that we're making sure the mastering and the mixing of the song that we just released, Late Night Hours, was complete enough to perform it.
Because it's not like we've had that song on the back burner since like January. Like I said, we were in writing mode, so we were like, yo, like we just finished like basically writing it maybe like a month and a half beforehand. So
Yeah.
we're like, we've never practiced it, we've never played it, and here we have a month until the show. So we're like, all right, well let's just
Didn't even finish vocals on it until after the show.
yeah.
I went up to Oregon and finished the vocals on it. It's
So
like,
buckled down and just finished the music to play
Yeah.
live.
Yeah,
pretty much.
basically.
but it's hard. Like leading up to it was hard. But I mean, like I said, we were really weird and fanatical with the fact of being under pressure and stressed, and good for them. The opening band, one of the kids that was on, I should say one of the guys. I guess I assume everyone is a kid like me.
I did that too.
But,
Everyone's kid.
but one of the guys, I guess he had like a Padres tryout. So Nicola was like, hey, is it cool if you guys do this? And it was just, it was another stress, but it was like, absolutely. because that's what they were saying and demonstrating. It's like Vans likes it, or Warped Tour likes it, obviously, when bands have the capabilities of having to switch on a dime.
Yeah.
So we went through a couple set changes, and obviously every 10 minutes is like a big gap, but we totally did it. We had a good response. All the other bands played incredible.
Yeah.
And we had literally zero idea that we were even going to be in contention of winning.
Yeah.
And like they said that we won. We outsold more than we thought we were going to. We played harder than we were assuming that we were going to. We had more people in the room that we were going to. Like, it's hard being overly like super confident when there's that much of good competition going into it, and your mind is obviously at a negative standstill because you have so much stresses going on. What?
But that almost helps you in a way, like, because if you're too positive about it,
oh yeah,
and then if you don't win, then it's way more of a bummer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that you want to like shoot yourself in the foot, like, man, we suck, we're not gonna
Yeah.
win this and that, but you can't go in like
Yeah.
big head, big ego. We're gonna win.
No,
See,
of course not.
for me, I don't get stressed performing because like that's what I go to bed thinking about
Exactly.
every single night. I eat, sleep, and breathe performing.
It's just the build up to it.
It's the build up to it. It's the ticket sales. It's afterwards.
It's
It's
like
the
the
payment.
business
It's the
aspect.
merch.
The business part of it, the one.
That was a little side.
All right, whatever. Black ink.
Yeah, sorry, you wouldn't get it, dude. You.
Anyways.
we're just talking.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
But we were, stoked we won. It was a very humbling experience.
Oh no.
Honor.
Shit happens.
But no, we were super
I'm
thankful for it. It was
crazy.
rad.
Yeah, I know Connor and I were there. It was a sick show. You guys as well as everybody else.
Yeah, it was like we kept saying, obviously winning the opportunity to play at Warped was incredible in itself, but just being able to play with local bands and have it be such a huge show was a win in itself.
The literal biggest local show of the year there. Like being a part of it was,
And,
in our opinion, ultimately the bigger thing because Vans Warped Tour is once a year,
Yeah.
but we can play Soma, once a month.
And the thing is,
if
too,
it came down to it.
I know we
But-
all grew up going to Soma, and to get
Yeah.
to play main stage, 'cause that was your first time playing main stage, right?
Yeah, first.
I know that's fucking tight. I played main
Yeah.
stage with my old band, and I was like, dude, think about
It
the
was
bands
so
I've
cool.
seen on this
Yeah.
stage.
Exactly.
I was just about to say the same thing, like just to give people a little context that are listening that maybe aren't from the area. Soma is like a staple venue in San Diego for not only like this genre of kind of like alternative music, but they've been around. They've had two different locations, but the one
Yeah.
that we all
I mean,
go
Blink
to
since
now.
the
182 has played there.
Blink
Like, when they were
182
starting
got
to
their
do it.
start.
Red
played
Soul,
there.
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
I think Paramore, like just
Pierce the
AFI.
Veil, and the local band Pierce the Veil, like back in the day. So it's like this venue, the way they run it, they have a side stage and a main stage. So it's kind of like side stage is just like
500 caps.
500
something
cap
that.
like style, yeah. And then the main stage when they open it up, it's like a 3,000,
Yeah.
I think 2,500 something
old
like
movie theater, but like they soundproofed
that.
it.
And it's fucking cool, man. It's like our local venue.
Second home for a while,
Yeah.
for a very long time.
Yeah, they do it right, man, and that's just to kind of fill people in on like what Soma has done for, like, I hope that like every scene has a place like that,
Yeah.
because like obviously like
home,
trends come
you
and
know?
go, and like maybe Soma isn't like what it was 4 years ago, but it's like shit picks back up,
Right.
like, and it's just like it's like cycles like anything, which is I was talking actually to Christina a while back, and I was like, I think it'd be awesome to have her on just because
Yeah,
she's
really cool.
been there
Yeah,
for
that
so
would be
long.
really
Like
rad.
she has like all that insight of, yeah, like that's just how it goes. Like maybe like sometimes like trends come and go, and like
Mhm.
Soma will be the place to be
Yeah.
for kids like growing up, and then, but like that brings to another point where it's like hip hop and rap is really mainstream right now. Which is like,
Right.
fuck, we all probably listen. Like I know I do. As
I mean,
Drake.
K.
love
Dot, stay
Drake.
humble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Drake, I
Yeah.
love being lost
Yeah.
in the field.
Yeah. Sure,
Like I
yeah.
love crying.
Yeah.
I love calling my ice cream like continue.
Yeah,
please.
right. So, I mean, yeah, the trends come and go, and it's like, but Soma's always been that staple venue.
Exactly.
So,
It's literally the holder of all quote unquote trends, but
mhm.
it regardless it will always be a local venue
Mhm.
that has a really good resume.
Yeah.
Like saying like what I mean, like not to bag on the other one, like the other venues, but it's just something about Soma. From the staff when you walk in and get your ticket scanned,
Yeah.
you say hi to the guards, you know.
You always recognize the people there too. It's always
Exactly.
the same dude, same
It
guard,
was
same ticket.
literally a community of people.
Yeah,
I would
it's-
go there every single
Mhm.
weekend.
It's definitely just I think compared to other venues we have, it's just for us personally, it's just way more of a personal venue, just
Mhm.
because we've laughed there countless times,
Cried
cried there,
Definitely cried.
bled there.
This
you
is
know.
funny. Yeah, this brings up something super funny because I remember seeing you guys back when we played shows,
Mhm.
and I was like, these guys fucking hate me.
No,
Like,
I hate myself.
I used to like, you just hate yourself. Yeah, I would like, I was just, I don't know, I was young as fuck. I was like 16 when I was in that band, so it was like obviously a different mindset at the time, and I was just like, that was like intimidating as fuck to be like playing shows of that size, because that's when the Soma like,
That's when it was huge.
booming.
That's when people would.
When you would-
Doesn't matter who was playing, they would go and they would
Booming.
stay from the beginning and stay
Yeah,
to the
local
end.
shows were
And
always
that's-
selling out.
Yeah, I was about
And
to say a
that's-
sold out.
that's what
sold
I-
out local show.
right.
That's insane if you think about
That's
it.
what I was telling Christina and Nicola. For people that don't know, they're like the heart and the soul, pretty much of Soma. Besides like Lynn and all of them, but we're like we wanted to orchestrate that mentality back again, where people
Yeah.
wouldn't care how much it was, who opened, who headlined. You came right when doors opened and you left right when doors closed. And- But it all comes down to community, the people, the bands, and the venue. The venue's been doing its job
Yeah.
since 1980 or whatever
the
the heck they
venue's
opened
bringing
up.
the bands, they're bringing
The venue just opens up the doors.
Yeah.
The staffing is perfect. The band, the booking agents, all that stuff is perfect. It's just people change, the bands change.
Yeah.
Work
We
ethic.
got to think about something about making, and I'm not trying to call it a new band, but it needs to be more support of like
The people need to be there to help each other out instead
Yeah.
of just go, hey, I played my set, I sold my tickets, like
Yeah.
time for me to go home.
right.
The people need to be there to help each other out, hook each other up with shows, bring people, get those people to stay for the other band.
Yeah.
I was talking about this like to my roommate who played Josh, who plays in Thousand Below. Who they just went on their first tour, full length tour, like 30 days around, like pretty much full US, I guess you would say. And so I guess it's kind of a thing that not only like we experience here, but obviously for like a tour package like that, that's not like they'll usually have like a local band or two open it up. And he was telling me like, dude, 80% of the time the local band would play and bounce,
Yeah.
which is like the
That's so
weirdest,
lame,
weirdest
man.
idea, you know? It's like
It's so lame.
I don't know if it's just like
I think
It's a pride thing, I think.
I think music's in a really weird state right now.
Mhm.
Like everything you hear that's popular is like electronic music, and so like as far as bands, like no new sound has really taken off. Like think about it, like a few years ago, like metalcore, like in our at least style of music we always used to listen to and play
Yeah.
stuff. Metalcore shows were popping off
Mhm.
always.
That's,
Like no matter,
that's what was it.
think about it, yeah, but right now there's no sound that is like huge or has caught on for where everyone to sound like. Back then, like it was Doors Prada, Miss Man, all these bands that were on Rise and whatever other label, they were all huge and all had a similar sound, and that sound was huge because it was
Right.
something new at the time. But right now, there's nothing, no new sound that's caught on yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's part of what's messing up for these local bands is they're like, they don't get it either because like their shows aren't really popping off or whatever, you know what I mean? And they'll go to a big show, well, that's supposed to be big, and that's not popping off as hard as it used to. And
Yeah.
I think music's just in a really weird state at the moment. Like
Yeah.
something, I think it's waiting for something to catch on, a new sound, something to catch on, rather than like the radio style stuff,
Mhm.
and then it'll pick back up. It's just
Yeah.
at a weird standstill, I think.
Well, I mean, from what I've witnessed and what we've done as a band in our like less than a dozen shows in over the course of a year and some change, staying around and supporting stuff like that is good, obviously, for the person that you're staying around and supporting for, but also is good for your band. Because no one wants to, like, venue, everybody does not want to see an empty room. Mm-hmm. And the more heads, the better, obviously. But, I mean, we've met a bunch of really, really cool people, whether it's, they're not even in a band, but they're just one of those people that, like one of our really, really, really good friends, which we met from our uncle, Pat. He's just, him and his family are one of those people that just loves music, loves going to concerts, doesn't matter who's playing. They'll discover new people. They'll stay from beginning and end. They like to get their money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, why are you gonna spend $12 on one band when there's so much?
You might fall
more
in love with
talent.
one of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
You never
Your
know.
favorite band
That's
once
happened
was
so
a
many
was a
times.
local band.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Like, people don't understand
and
it.
if you're in one of the bands that's playing and you just dip after your show too, like you don't meet the other bands, like dude, one of those guys could be your new best friend. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because
dude.
you're all there, you're playing the same kind of music, you're all to the same shit.
Yeah.
Like you can meet this dude and he'd be the coolest guy ever, but you wouldn't
Yeah.
know because you left before their set.
This is
so.
something I'll straight
Right.
up always remember. Like, this was like the best. I think I already brought this up on the podcast, but it like one of like the staple moments of me playing music was we opened up on a Tuesday night Soma side stage for a band called Let Live, who rest in peace, they just broke up, but that vocalist Jason was just like that dude,
He's a madman on stage.
a madman on stage.
What a
not only
performer.
Yeah, a straight up performer, but not only
Yeah.
that, but like a really just genuine guy.
Yep.
And not a lot of we opened for like different tour packages back in the day, and like they'll give you like a shout out, you know, like most of the time, like the bands above you would be like, hey, like give it up for the local boys, but like Jason got up on stage, they were the headliner, and was like really told the crowd like these guys like give it up for your local band, and he was like just super genuine, like gave like a good speech, and like you could tell that he watched our set.
And you guys were the only local band, right?
We were the only local band to open, so it was like he like talked about like us and like how stoked he was that we opened the show, and just like and he just gave a little bit more, and then like I'll never forget that day because I was a band that I looked up to. And then that guy actually like recognized us, said something like dope about us, and you think about such a small gesture, like how hard was that for him to do that, you know?
And it's not for you. It's not so much the fact of it being like he's noticing us.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact of like, wow, this guy actually cares
Yeah,
about
he's not
people.
a-
You know, it's
not
deeper. It's like, wow, this
disingenuous.
guy's actually a nice human being.
And he's been there before, and he's been in that band that was like opening for the touring acts, and like. And maybe they shouted him out one time, so it was like, you know, it comes around. And
Well, I mean, it like I said before, your favorite band was once a local band that just didn't give up or just kept trying.
Yeah.
But I think about where we are right now, where, you know, we're fortunate enough to play in front of the people that we do. We're fortunate enough to have the views that we do. We're fortunate enough to actually even perform.
Mm-hmm.
And I look where if things get right, if things go right, if dreams become reality, and we're at that point, I would be an immense hypocrite to contradict and not give props to the people and want to shelter myself away from people that helped you. I just don't get how people can get some sort of stardom or success, be a celebrity or whatever, and you completely disregard another human being.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Like they're so under your foot that you have no idea who they are.
And
that's disgusting in my opinion.
I think too, like even when you get to that level, like I think you were just saying, Connor, like you have to recognize that like you were there too. Like if you say you get big or whatever, you have to recognize like you were a small band. I remember my old band was playing a show one time. I don't remember who we were playing with, but I remember after our set, the singer was like, hey man, like sick set, you guys killed it. And I was like, thanks dude, and I walked away and like, damn, like that guy from this band just told me like good set.
Yeah.
And like literally all he had to say was 2 words, and I was stoked. So like whenever someone gets to that point, like they don't have to forget the roots, watch a local band, tell them, hey man, good set, you guys were sick, and they're gonna be stoked.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to say. And
It's appreciation.
And going back to the whole like thing of us playing Soma, we played with bands that we had never heard of. We had no idea who was in it, and it was the nervous part was like it was almost like high school. Like you're like sitting there with your backpack on, like going to the venue for load-in. You're like, no, I hope we make friends. But like legitimately, there was a couple guys from the other bands that we were set up right next to our merch.
Yeah, like Shawshank.
And we were sitting there, and it's like not assuming everyone's like a jerk, or not assuming that everyone's not nice, but it's like, wow, this is nice to see the fact that people are just like us, that care just like us, but they're not even bull crapping you and doing the whole like, oh, so like what's up, faking the fact of being a friend. It's just people that want to make more friends that are gonna intermingle and doing and loving the same thing that you do, but they'll go, hold on, let's pause this conversation. I gotta go play a show. Come back and pick up on it. And that's what's so cool about it.
It's a real
and that's
conversation.
Right, and that's what we kind of want to hopefully do, whether it's like us as a band or like individuals, just like be welcoming to all bands in San Diego. And I mean, we're not posting or boasting about it that we're some big band, because we know we're not, but it's the fact that like we want to introduce the fact that we genuinely care about other musicians and their musicianship, and how crappy it feels to where other bands don't even care about you, you know, like no band other cares about you. Like why can't we care? And I think that even goes even deeper. Damn, I fly all over you, man.
Dude, straight up.
Fly or gnat or whatever. It's
Don't
just,
even look up there. Like I got.
oh
dude,
my.
I'm
Are they paying rent at least?
I wish, dude. That'd be solid.
Yeah. But
But I think also I think also to not to move on from that, but it was kind of like I don't know how to exactly it was a humbling experience, but like
for Warped.
Yeah, but like the fact that we've obviously never played Warped before. It was once again an amazing opportunity. Very humbling at the same time, but we were like, okay, we'll probably play, half an hour after doors open, whatever, and they're like, no, you're going on at 11. Like,
Right
when do doors open?
We're like,
11.
We're like, all right, cool.
Oh, okay, like, how long is our set? 20 minutes. And it was like, oh, like, we were like, like, not that we were bummed about it, but, we were like,
but
man,
that's the stresses of it.
Yeah.
We're like, man, what if nobody's going to be there?
Right.
And then those are the reminders that I believe everyone needs in any form of whatever you're doing. The reminders of do it because you love it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's watching you. It doesn't matter what you're getting paid. Do it because you love it. And that's where we both kind of like, before we went on, we're like, dude, why are we stressed about people being here? Like, we've played in front of people. We know that when we go back home, which we were obviously at home, but when we go and orchestrate our own show, we know there's going to be people there. Why don't we introduce more like people to our own? And that's what happened. It was cool. People kind of stopped and watched us. It was
sick,
awesome.
man. Like you guys had stepped away, and I was over at your guys' tent right after you guys had played, and this guy clearly was just trying to make friends, like with you guys, and like it was unfortunate that you guys had already walked away, but like the guy came up and he was like, hey man, like you guys were super sick today, and it was a dude that was clearly like he was on the tour,
right?
And he was like, damn, like you guys were super cool, and I meant to come by and buy a CD yesterday. Like you guys didn't play Warped Tour,
Right?
Yeah.
So he was just trying to find like a connection, but it was like, and he bought a CD and left a $2 tip. So it was like
That's awesome.
which was fucking
so cool.
super cool.
Yeah.
You know, it
I
was
wish I
like
would've said hi to that
so
guy,
you right. So you made that. If you were thinking like beforehand, like, oh man, like doors open at 11 and we play at 11 and like what's the point, you know? But it's like that dude saw it, he liked it enough to come up and be like, you guys were sick. Like he obviously watched you that day and like
Exactly.
he bullshitted that you guys played yesterday.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's
That's
still,
fucking
it's still
cool.
nice
That's
that
awesome.
the fact that you even
Yeah, you
like,
made at least one fan, and
Yeah.
that's
Which-
what you're there to do.
Which I was gonna say, I
He
mean,
has a CD.
to me, it's not a matter of we have to play in front of X amount of people or whatever. Like, even if literally one person comes up and goes, "Hey man, like, I really enjoyed the set," like. Even if they're like, I'm not a fan of your music, but it was something cool to watch. I liked your message. It's like that's like
That's the
my
objective.
goal in a show.
yeah, that's the objective every time
Yeah,
we
because
play.
if someone's never heard of you or listened to your music, but they're at your show and you're killing it, they're gonna be like, "Damn!" Like even if they're like, "Man, I don't really like the music," but like these dudes are slaying it live.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about like Let Live. Like I never really got into their music. I don't think they're bad or anything. I just never personally got into it. But I know that dude fucking kills it live.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
sick to watch.
Because they love what they're doing. And I think if bands cared less about how many people they're playing in front of
Yeah.
and more of who they're playing in front of,
Yeah.
then they would be successful more.
Because people get there and they're like, "Man, there's only like 50 people here," and it's like, "Well, you can't
Like, that's-
suck.
that's
Yeah,
50
you can't
people.
suck for those 50 people. You gotta make those 50 people,
Yeah.
those next 50 people, your fans.
It's
Yeah.
Because if you
motivation,
get there
man.
and you're bummed and you're like, "Fuck, man, like there's only 50 people here. It's gonna be a bad show," and you just play a bad set and think, "Well, now you didn't get a fan."
And people see right through that.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you get
People
there,
see the uncomfortabilities or your lack of attentiveness
Mm-hmm.
because
You see that all
there's
the
so many
time.
people. And it's
Mhm.
like, dude, I get more nervous playing in front of 3 people
Yeah.
Oh,
than we
for
did
sure.
at
That's
like
weird.
200 people because I gotta make these two
Yeah,
people,
those two
these 2 people
Who I can see
like,
their eyes.
direct-
burn
yeah,
away.
they're
no
literally
attention
the only ones
elsewhere.
watching you. They're like, "Yeah, I'm critiquing everything you
I
do
always
right
thought
now."
that, man. Like, because I sang for my last band, and it was like, oh, cool. Like, we're playing at Soma again. Like, there's gonna be a good turnout. And then there was a couple times when we did like acoustic stuff, and I was like, are you fucking serious? I'm so nervous.
Yeah, I was just
right
Yeah.
now.
stressing super
I
hard
was
when
like,
singing
what the
acoustic.
like? I'm doing acoustic for like 15 people after a show, and like we're just like we did like whatever, like a little medley of our songs, and it was like fucking awesome. But it's like on stage, it's like I got my band, I got my boys, and like
Right,
we're playing,
yeah.
and then
you can hide
Yeah.
behind some stuff.
yeah,
A little
but then
bit.
it's like okay, intimate,
raw.
15 people. It's like
Yeah.
that scared the shit out of me, but that like made me grow as like not only an artist but just as a person in general.
Yeah.
It's like that's
To welcome
it's,
the fear of things.
it's a it's an awakening experience
Yeah.
for sure. So
And for us, real quick, is I think that's what was difficult for us because when we wrote our first album, we had no idea what we would look like. We had no idea what we would sound like. We had no idea who we were, what we would sound like performing. All while doing this with only 2 people.
Mhm.
One guy who is stationary inside of a drum or
Yeah.
behind a drum kit.
I mean, I could be inside the drum too.
Yeah.
Or we could like put you in like a ball.
we could make you a drumstick.
And we can
someone
just roll you
big
around
ass
stage.
dude plays you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like the puppet master to like some guy. on
So we
the
got this
wall.
guy being the drum over there, like being played as a drumstick.
Yeah,
No,
being
but,
involved with the drum.
but it almost like I remember the very first time we played, which was at Queen Bee's. We had all this like hype of, we were
New
telling
band.
people like, hey, like we're ready to play. Like, we've been hyping this up for a long time. We're finally ready to play. And in that moment, it was just like everyone was just like pulling out a checklist, going,
Big notes.
you know, like, mhm, what are you gonna do? What do you do
Yeah.
that? And that mental stigma of like, oh my god, I'm like
Yeah.
everything that I'm doing wrong, they're paying attention to it instead of like keeping like track of like I'm doing way less bad things than I am for doing good things, which motivated me, like lit a fire underneath my
Oh,
butt,
for
you
sure.
know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And that nervousness of playing, I mean, I wish I could admit the fact that playing makes me nervous. It's more so the fact of like what makes me nervous is legitimately before playing and after playing,
Mhm.
like leading up to it.
Yeah, that's what's scary is before. Once I'm on stage,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
fun.
yeah, it's
once I'm
dude,
on stage, I'm
cakewalk.
chilling. But like
Cakewalk.
setting up, tuning my guitar, and this is like, dude, we're about to play.
Dude, yeah, it's
Like,
all
like,
slow motion.
shaking.
Yeah.
Ready to
And then
go?
this-
You're like,
And then the second like you hear the drums click to start the song,
lights go and
yeah,
you're
you're
like-
fine.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
adrenaline kicks in. Yeah.
I miss that feeling, man. That's the
Yeah,
best
same.
feeling in the world. It's like because it's such a contrasting feeling. It's like, literally, I do this all the time. I plug in my fucking shit. I'm always doing this. I'm always plugging in my amps. I'm always, like,
I have the
there's
routine.
nothing different here.
You practice
But it's
it
like,
a bunch
there's
of times
people looking at
beforehand.
me doing this, like, saying weird shit in the crowd, and
It's
I'm
a
like,
judging thing.
and
Yeah.
then it's like, the first song starts, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
But that,
No.
but that is what should thrive inside of you to make you a better performer.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
like for speaking on for my behalf and all the people out there that are singers and performers, I like to, if people ask me like, what do you enjoy about performing or what do you think you do best at? I'm 1000% myself on stage.
Mhm.
I don't do anything on stage that I wouldn't do around my friends necessarily or like
Yeah.
in day-to-day life. I'm completely myself because
Mhm.
that's a place that I can be.
Yeah.
But why should I be nervous about that? I should be myself and people should just accept the fact of that. But that's the thing. People are too invested with the fact of like, but what if they don't accept me for who I am?
Right.
They don't have to accept you. They just have to watch you and respect the fact that, wow, this guy's actually being completely himself right now.
Yeah.
Or just putting on one hell of a good show.
Another way I look at it too I wouldn't necessarily say it's you being yourself in terms of like how you hang out with your friends, but like at least to me personally, being on stage or writing music or any kind of creative craft is kind of just showing, whether you're doing it to show people or not,
Mhm.
like you're expressing who you really are when it might not even be who your friends see, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like for me, like I don't talk to my friends and I'm like, yeah dude, like I'm super depressed today, like blah blah blah, like I'm trying to be like the light,
Yeah.
you know, and like have like laughter going and like a good time, whatever. But music is my way of expressing, you know, like, oh yeah, like I'm feeling depressed today, or
Yeah.
this has been bugging me, or this is weighing on my mind. So then when you get on stage and perform, like once again for me, I'm sure it's the same for him too. It's like you get into that like psyche of, you know your own song, so you're getting into like what you're writing about, and you can express that in the truest, most honest form, instead of being
Emotion is
like,
important.
because like we never go to a practice and we're not like, okay, like when this part comes in, like, you know,
Mhm.
we're gonna do like this in syncly and or whatever it might be. It's just
Yeah.
like
I just
we
play.
literally just go into practice and we play. Like it's just whatever you want to do, you do. Whatever I'm gonna do, I do. I mean, obviously we have like, oh, like we wear like a mask or something. Like, okay, put that on this song, whatever. But any physical featured
Jumping or
movement,
anything.
yeah, is all natural of how we're feeling.
This is kind of
during the set.
a curveball question. Do you guys, obviously being brothers, do you guys ever just like think, like there's like some different, like you guys can bring something different to the table as far as like connections with
Absolutely.
like you guys can almost like, since obviously like you hear about this all the time. I know if you guys know the band Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drummer and the guitarist are brothers.
And then the other guitarists, they like grew up learning guitar together.
Mhm.
So it's like
They're
you think
famous
about
friends, like
Mhm.
practical brothers.
So you think about that, like, how does that translate with you guys? Like, does that, like, is there an easier process because you guys know each other so well? Or
I
I
mean,
think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
I say absolutely, but it comes with, it's not. I mean, we have a great. Matter of fact, we have an amazing camaraderie between
Mhm.
us. We both see the vision. Granted, I don't think there's ever been a band ever without any kind of disagreements, because
Oh, for sure.
I see this and I go, hey man, you know, I should do like this. He says this, but both of us, our baby is the band.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
You
let
got the end
anything,
goal.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what we benefit at, in my opinion, because we've been in bands before and all this stuff, but we, and no offense to them, we've had no faith in other people
Yeah.
that want it as bad as I want it and he wants it.
It's the
But
hardest
we're on the
Because
same
I
level.
grew up my whole entire life knowing that this kid has got
Fire.
aspirations and the fire to succeed in
For
him.
sure.
And likewise to me. And I think that's where we benefit as musicians and business partners. Because we both know each other's work ethics, and we both know that we're not going to give up on anything at any time, ever. And there's some people out there that literally have not known each other for long, been in bands, and they kill it.
Oh, for sure.
From one another. They absolutely kill it. I mean, you and Garrick are in bands, and or have been in bands and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's funny because in our bands that we were in, him and I were always on the same page, always clicking, and
but it's not even like okay, well he said this, so I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, no, it's just like a natural reaction that you're both feeling for some reason.
Because like obviously with any kind of sibling, doesn't have to be brothers, but you know, we go through our disagreements, or like, you know, oh hey, I like the way this, like when we're writing a song, I like the way this sounds. Well, I like the way this sounds, and then we're brothers, so we're not just gonna be like, no man, like yeah, dude, like for sure it's gonna be your way. It's
like no,
nah,
you're
dude, like
idiot.
listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be this way. Like we obviously have our disagreements, but it's for performing though. I don't know how to explain it. There's like a Wi-Fi sync that goes on where it's like if he gets all into it, I get all into it. Like we fuel each other, you know what I mean? But I think it's a definitely like which we're really thankful for.
I think what's cool too about the fact that like my brother is the drummer and it's just us two in the band is the fact that like we're very protective over each other, as you should be of your own flesh and blood. Mm-hmm. So we look at this band as if, you know, we're looking down the road, we're looking at the big picture, and we're going, this is what's going to put food on our table. So how dare I, as a musician, as a brother, as an artist, how dare I take food out of his mouth by not playing my hardest? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm doing that as a business partner, as a musician, but the underlying tone is the fact that this is my flesh and blood.
Yeah, it's like, think about the saying, like, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Exactly.
If one person is screwing it up, it's like everyone's getting dragged down by that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why me and Casey were kicking out Tyler.
Yeah, Todd's out.
Todd, are you out there?
If you're watching, dude, like this is it.
Well, it's cool too, because of like our camaraderie of being brothers. We legitimately have almost like a competition.
Yeah, it's
We're
good.
like, dude, I'm gonna play harder than you. It's like, no, I'm gonna play harder
dude,
than
I
you.
don't care what anyone says. I mean, we're only 20 months apart. We like are literally practically the same age.
Yeah.
Grew up.
Only friend I had,
Apparently
pretty much.
twins growing up. You know,
Mm-hmm. Everyone thought.
the same height, whatever. Been best friends since day one. I don't care what you say. There's always a competition. Even when there's, he'll be like, oh blah 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 blah
put me on
whatever.
blast,
Dude, I'm putting on full
I'm
blast
leaving
right
the
now.
band. I'm
And I'll be
leaving
like,
the band right now.
dude, calm down. It's not a competition. It's like I feel like it's just been driven from years of growing up of like just the natural, like habitual feeling of.
Right. But there's nothing
competition.
wrong with having that sense,
No,
because we're both gonna benefit out of the fact that, like if we both just like if he plays, my whole goal, like if I expect anything out of him, and it's gonna happen one time. I want him to play the drums so hard he just throws up everywhere.
I don't know why he wants
I'll punk rock with that beat.
It's disgusting.
I like, dude, yeah.
Like, I don't know what you want.
I love
out of
when
me,
drummers
but,
get bloody, like when my fucking.
Yeah, you see blood on the
The
snare.
second show we
Yeah.
played,
That was
the
so
second show we
badass.
played, he ripped open his whole entire finger, threw a drumstick out in there, and it's blood stained now.
Dude,
I'm like,
yeah.
that's what I want out of you every
When
single
I was-
That
show.
hurts, man. Like,
Well, I know.
I didn't choose to do
When
that.
I used to look
Hey, you're
back,
selling your soul to this band right
and
now.
we were playing live shows, and I would see my drummer just going hard as fuck, and like I'd see him hit his snare, and like blood would come up. I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, it's going down.
Because
Yeah.
it makes me
It's
want
time
to play a little
fucking
harder.
go.
But do you know what the
crazy.
worst part is though? When
No,
that
stage
happened,
dive.
it was literally on the very, very first song we played.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally
A blister
15,
broke.
a 15. Yeah, I had a blister and a blister,
Mm.
and it was like 15 seconds in it happened. We had like a 25-minute set, and I don't know if you've ever like touched underneath the blister.
it's
Like, it's
raw.
so, dude. Imagine having the drumsticks. I was just like,
that just made my
the whole
skin
time.
burn.
It hurt so bad.
This podcast took a really bad turn.
I
It's
know.
really graphic.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to change the rating to like G to like maybe PG.
We're cutting like all of this because this was terrible anyway. So.
It's actually god awful.
Yeah, we're actually fuck, man. We've been jamming. This went by really quick, but let's go over like what you guys have coming up and talk about
Music video.
the music video. I know you guys just
Sure.
dropped, and we did some cool stuff with that. Yeah, talk about that, and then talk about what you guys' future plans is, and then I think we'll call it. I think we
Sure. So as announced on the music video, we are writing this new song, Late Night Hours, which you can find on YouTube. As we dropped it as a single, is a part of our new album called Thoughts and What to Do with Them. And we worked, as every band usually generically
Mhm.
says, but like we worked so hard. We wrote the song half of what we did last time wise. Like we wrote it in what, 5 months? 12
Yeah.
songs, 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the first shows that we played and like experiencing what it was like being All Clear Kid
Mm-hmm.
thrived this album into its writing process. And we put a whole lot into the song that we released, and we were so proud of what we did that we wanted to, marketing wise, I think it's wise, instead of just dropping your whole entire album,
Mm-hmm.
dropping a single, and bam. I guess I just totally gave a hint at what we're doing next.
Don't
So
give away the secret. It was
Wait, it's-
exclusive. We'll take the
Come on,
exclusive.
hey.
We got
Heard
the
it here
podcast
first. We're gonna take
exclusive.
$8 for
You guys better get an hour and fucking 21 minutes into this podcast to hear some exclusives.
I know, right?
Fuckers. Yeah.
So yeah, we released the video, released the song, and we're gonna drop the album soon, but not as soon as people think.
No set date yet.
Yeah, no,
No.
set date.
We have a couple more songs
Things
to
to figure out.
finish.
some planning,
Yeah.
but we have an idea on what we want to do, and the future is releasing the best content that we can,
Just keep going.
shopping it around,
Trucking.
and literally play as if we're already on the top. You know. I don't think. I think it's obviously good to have a future. Like, keep in mind about your future, but stay relevant to now
Mm-hmm.
and thrive for your future, especially when it comes to being in a business like a band and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because anything can change at one point in time, but the most important thing is that we're doing what we love,
Mm-hmm.
and we're hoping that people enjoy it too. So yeah, we'll be back. We'll be playing shows soon. Releasing another single here soon, and then releasing the album, and
Perfect.
hoping people really enjoy it.
Awesome.
Hopefully, be back on Blackgate's.
Yeah,
This is
that's
awesome,
the
man.
idea, man. Like that's, we get these like beginning stages of people, and hopefully we'll have you guys back when you're doing something fucking a year from
Absolutely.
now. That's like super rad,
Absolutely.
and it's been fun, man.
Especially since you guys are our boys.
The boys.
Boys.
Longest yeah boys ever.
We're the longest boys. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks
man.
everyone.
I
for
really
listening.
appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you for having
Good
us
shit.
on. Thank you for
Real.
listening.
Till next time.
Bye, live stream.
I'm,
See, Joey's always blocking
Nice.
me and stuff.
Yeah, you-
That's my 2 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
Dude, think about it. Blocks me on stage, right?
He blocks you on Twitter, I bet.
Blocks me
Please
on.
end this now.
Hope he doesn't block me on Twitter.
Dude.
Jesus.
God.
Did this shit die?
Your side, yeah, like probably like
I'm
half
a
an hour ago.
cookie number.
No, it's cool. Like I think that the live stream kills batteries, so it just